Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Radio Toons podcast. How's it going?
Going good, man.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
This is officially the 52nd episode.
Yeah.
Which means that we've done it for 52 weeks, which means it's 1 year. This is, I mean, I'm not trying to play it up, but this is technically the anniversary episode.
Right.
And we're doing something really special. We hinted at it last week, but we're going to do a little giveaway.
That's right, yeah.
And we're going to have a video go up sometime this week. We're aiming for Friday. But if we get it up earlier, who knows, you know? Shit might happen. Who knows?
So watch Twitter.
Yeah.
Watch Twitter.
Yeah, it's going to be those kind of deals. So if you have a Twitter, you know, retweet the tweet that we put out, and you can win some stuff. I guess we'll unveil the stuff in the actual video, you know. But it's PC stuff, and you might like. I don't know.
You might like it.
Check it out, yeah. I just want to say thanks to Bloody Gaming, because Bloody Gaming is the one that provided all the stuff.
Yeah, thanks a lot to them. They actually reached out to us and were saying, like, hey, you know, we like your podcast. You know, we'd like to help you guys out and do a giveaway.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, you know, if you don't know who they are, go check out their website. It's bloody.com, right? Bloody.com?
Yeah, bloody.com. Like, that's how crazy it is. Like, when I tell people bloody.com, you go there, they're like, they own the rights to bloody.com.
Yeah.
That's like such a small URL.
Like blood, you know, like
and
bloody.
Then Y.
And then Y, and then .com.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you so much for that. But let's get on with the show here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Venom?
Yeah, the Venom trailer.
Venom?
It's we're recording this on a Monday.
Yeah.
And the Venom trailer just went up tonight. I saw a smaller trailer than you saw.
A teaser, if you will.
A teaser when we went to go see Rampage.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't talk about it too much because it was all like, you know, the teaser trailers barely show anything. And then they showed like a flash of Venom at the end. And I was like, oh, it's still a guy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, a little splash of Venom here, a little splash of Venom there.
You know, it's Sony.
But, okay. So we both watched it right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
I think Venom is like someone that everyone loves.
Sure.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember loving Venom when I was a kid, but I talked to a lot of people and they're just they love him. Like he's a beloved.
It's one of those things.
He's a beloved character. I think.
I feel like he's one of those characters like Spawn, where he's the anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
But he obviously didn't start out that way, and I think that's why people like him so much. Plus, like as a creature of design, he's really cool looking because he's the black silhouette with the eyes. You know, personally, I like the classic blue Venom. With this, you know, with the spider symbol.
Well,
he's
on the
never
front. Really blue, is he?
Yeah, he was blue in the comics.
But he's like black with like blue shade.
Sure, but even like they've done way more interpretations with like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Okay, that one, yeah, he's definitely
blue in that one.
I actually only chose him because he was blue in Marvel vs. Capcom, the first one, because I used to play Mega Man and him together. You guys didn't even know that, but
yeah, I mean like
let me tell you what Venom is.
Oh, here we
Venom
go.
is the Knuckles to Spider-Man's Sonic.
Nah.
No?
No.
What about...
I totally disagree.
What about Shadow the Hedgehog, huh?
No, I disagree again.
How? He's evil and then, like, they fight alongside, no?
No, because the hatred began before they became even superheroes. Like,
okay.
Brock... Like, in the comics, Brock and Peter worked together at the Daily Bugle.
When you start sentences off with, in the comics... I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like, yeah.
Well, you're telling me this is how it is. This is like he's Knuckles and that's not how it is because
it was a really broad metaphor. I wasn't looking for a detail.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is like they're the complete opposite. You know, it's like
the Wario to Mario. You know,
what are you trying to do here?
Wait, you don't like these?
No, because Peter's powers came from a mutation.
Okay.
Brock's came from he has to maintain this like balance between good and evil because it's two beings trying to be one person. Because remember, it's the symbiote and then it's Venom. So it's
beings.
Yeah, beings.
Okay.
Because a symbiote.
I thought you said beans.
No, beings.
And I thought you
like
were.
two living things.
I thought you were trying to do metaphors.
No.
Now. And I was gonna say,
so
why can you do it?
And they're really playing up that whole thing in the trailer. So that's, I think, what it has to do with the actual comics. That relationship is what they seem to be going to be focusing on. Because there's no Peter Parker, at least I didn't see in the trailer. So I don't think... I think what you said earlier was going to be true, is that they're not going to do the whole Spider-Man thing. They're going to try to keep Brock kind of contained in his own universe.
When did I say that?
You said it earlier when you saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, because Sony's going to be doing their own Spider-Man.
Well, I just said Sony's going to be doing it, so there's a big chance that it's going to be shit, was basically what I was trying to say. But, okay, so from the trailer, like, I guess we can describe what goes on in the trailer. He's like a reporter, right?
Right.
Like he usually is. And he goes off on some, like he gets like a hint of something weird going on in this laboratory, and he's like, hey, I gotta go see what that's all about. The people don't like it, and they're just like, they kind of go after him, right? Is that what's going on here?
No, in the trailer, it's Brock is has a relationship with this girl. This girl's company works for this bigger company. That bigger company is called Life.
I thought she came up and found him after he was there.
No, that's not his girlfriend. His girlfriend works for this company. He's going to go interview this company about their stuff.
The one he saw at the shopping.
Yes, I'm getting to that. And then when he's out after the interview, where he kind of like, he's like, what about the fact that you kidnap people and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, this interview's over, and he gets him out. So he's walking around, and then supposedly somebody from that corporation is following him.
There you go. That's what I mean. Like they reached out to him.
Right, but she didn't reach out to him. She's following him, but he said, like, you know what, first rule in reporting is not to be seen, and you suck at it. And basically, she's just trying to get information to him. Okay. But when they go to the lab, something goes wrong, and then Brock gets the symbiote on him. That's when they come after him, because they want that symbiote back.
Okay.
Because it turns out that the corporation that he works for, they're injecting people with the symbiote and seeing how it reacts.
Okay, so when I saw that, I was thinking to myself, like, they're going to try and make it seem like Venom is a good guy in some way, right?
Well, yeah, but...
Because, like, you have to in a movie, right?
Kind of, but see, Brock is one of these characters that, in any good story, you need to start out kind of messed up, and then you kind of arc to being good, right? So Brock's all about his, he's a journalist. He's got to get that story no matter what.
Right.
Right? So in this... He has he has that whole attitude where he goes like anything to get that story, right? Now the symbiote provides him like powers and everything, and he could do whatever he wants. It even says that line in the trailer. So the whole movie is going to be Brock trying to decide which way he's going to go, because that's the whole story of Venom, is trying to rein back the symbiote to not murder everybody,
to control it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he going to like smash a photo of Topher Grace in the movie? Do you think that's going to happen?
I think there's going to be...
You think there's going to be like a little...
I think there's going to be a little wink.
Yeah, or like a little
wank.
stab at Topher Grace. You know
Maybe
what I'm saying?
Topher Grace is out delivering pizzas.
And
he's going to knock him over with the symbiote. He's like, whoa! And then that's going to be the cameo.
Or he's watching that 70s show?
Exactly.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, he's watching that 70s show, and then he shoots his Venom thing at it, and he breaks the screen because it's like...
Oh, there's going to be a poster of it or something, and then he's just going to tear right through a wall and has a poster.
He's like, I liked the show better when Eric left, and he like smashes the TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What did you think of the actual Venom? Like the graphics.
The computer graphics I actually thought looked really shitty, but that's just me. Maybe I'm being a little too like picky about it. But I do know that like when it comes to computer graphics, they could always update them.
Yeah.
Like it's probably like it'll probably look better in the final thing.
Yes, I have a suspicion of that, because if you noticed, they only did one good shot of Venom, and it was at the end. Otherwise, it was like it just like shot out really quick like a toad's tongue, and then shot back.
That's what was kind of worrying me at first, was that like I was like, I don't like that a lot of this movie is just like him basically like as fucking Prototype. Remember that game Prototype where you like I was like, that's kind of more or less what it felt like. And then you only get that one shot of him at the end. But here's hoping like the whole movie is him like that, because when I saw Venom's like actual face, I'm like, I don't know. It's like
Spawn.
I'm a sucker for like, you know, it's like when you first saw Spider-Man, I'm just like, oh, that's like, you've never seen this on screen. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Topher Grace Venom, but it doesn't count, I guess.
You know, here's the thing too. I really hope that most of the movie is him dealing with the symptoms of the symbiote in his head. Mm-hmm. So I want most of it to be almost like an addict. Mm-hmm. Like he in the trailer, it looks like he's like, I feel really sick, and he looks like he's coming down from. Looks like he's suffering from withdrawal. Like, if that's the main focus of the movie, it could take on this whole new metaphor of like, you know, I got to get the sickness out of me, but he has to kind of live with it, kind of like a drug addict has to live with, you know, being a drug addict every day. That's a cool metaphor that they could use. But if it's just gonna be, you know, him being like, oh, don't kill people, okay, maybe kill a couple people. That's
I guess my only real big concern is that like they don't try and make him too like superhero-y, or like I'm kind of like wondering how they're gonna make him hold up a whole movie and be interesting on his own without having like cameos or mentions to other things, because he's not part of this. Isn't part of the cinematic universe, right? As far as I know,
right? And you know, here's the thing: there's two things going really good for it. One, Tom Hardy's a really good actor. I really like him.
Well, I'm gonna get to that later because I do really like him as that. Yeah, go for it. Keep going.
Okay, so the two things is that Tom Hardy's a really good character, and he's been doing several interviews, and he feels like, you know what, he's been going like, we're gonna make a really good Venom movie. It looks like he's all in on it, right?
Okay.
The second thing is Marvel Studios is consulting on the film.
Okay.
So they're helping with the script, and they're helping kind of guide where the movie goes. So it's good because, you know, bringing up the superhero like Spider-Man thing could help them in the long run. So if they ever decide to do Venom, because they have the rights to that character now too, you know, there's, you know, back and forth. There's like, which Venom is better, blah, blah, blah. So it helps them. So that's good too.
Man, Sony's really fucking with Marvel, I swear. Like, it's like, first it's like, hey, you guys can't have mutants back, you know, fuck you. And then it's like, hey, in Deadpool, you only get like these crappy mutants, so you can. But
look at what they did with them. They made a dope ass movie with them. I still
like Deadpool.
Love
Deadpool
was a great movie because it was like the expectations were so low for that movie, and then like
I think the opposite. I think people heard Ryan Reynolds is gonna be Deadpool, and they like what?
You guys can't see me, but I'm making this. Everybody hated Ryan Reynolds at that point.
My fucking ass, dude. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds.
He had just crapped the bed with Green Lantern like a couple years before this thing was mentioned, and you're telling me that people were like, yep, another superhero movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Dude,
yes.
That guy did one of those fucking bro movies.
Which one?
I don't know which one.
Which one?
I don't know. Oh, Van Wilder. He was Van Wilder.
He was Van Wilder like when he was 20.
Dude, people like that guy.
Oh my gosh, dude. That movie was so freaking long ago. And he had done so many stupid...
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
You saw Green Lantern.
Yes.
You took me to go see Green Lantern.
Yes, and it was crappy.
And you still loved him.
Yes, but that's the thing.
That's my point.
No.
That people still love him.
Listen. Okay. The expectations were low because I had seen it, and I still think that movie is crappy, but I'm like, he's going to do a superhero movie. Oh my gosh, he's going to do another one. The thing that I liked about this one, he funded it, he like got the audience behind it. He was like, we're going to write it the way we're going to write it, and we're going to do it the way we want to do it because we're not taking money from any studios or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's why I got behind it, but I didn't expect much because it was such a grassroots development, you know?
I think people were really hyped for once they saw the first CG trailer that got quote unquote leaked.
Yeah, but nerds from Comic-Con, like people like us, we were like, "Oh wow, that's actually really cool." But like the world at large was like, "Dude, Ryan Reynolds, he tried to be Green Lantern, didn't work. Just leave it alone." And then he did a bunch of like rom-com movies which were like ho hum.
It's crazy that I hear you say that because I don't believe that.
I love. It's the same thing with me and The Rock. I love The Rock and whatever he's in. But I understand that like movies like San Andreas, and like the Fast and the Furious movies are just.
You ever named
the Fast and the Furious series where he's Hobbs. That's his character.
Where he makes billions of dollars because those movies are so popular. People love those movies.
Listen, I know, but they're terrible. I watched Furious 7. I was like, I should have never come to this thing.
That's my point, I guess, is like, you're saying that Ryan Reynolds has made bad movies, but people still love him, dude. Those movies still do good.
They do fine. They don't do great.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because the returns on Fast and Furious has been getting lower and lower. So let's just be honest about that.
How is that true? The guy died, and then they're
That's
making
the only reason that one did so well. It's just like the farewell performance or whatever. But like, what I'm saying is that movie did not have high expectations because it was rated R for the other thing. Uh-huh. It's like PG-13 movies do well because everybody can go see them. Rated R movies don't do well because not everybody can go see them, and so they don't make a lot of money. That's why most comedies are PG-13.
Well, ironically, I think kids still saw a lot of kids still saw that movie. It was actually, I remember seeing a kid at Target crying because his mom wouldn't buy him Deadpool.
Because there's dicks and stuff in it.
So kids want to see dicks? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't.
Do you want that on record?
That. No, I don't want to say. Can you just cut this?
Yeah,
I'll
just
cut all of this.
We're getting off track.
But Tom, like I said, Tom Hardy has made nothing but great movies up until now. Like he's always been solid in his roles, and I think he's gonna do a good job in this.
Let me just say real fast. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. I didn't know he was cast. I basically just saw this trailer because I wasn't planning on watching this movie, and I was like, this guy looks like Eddie Brock. This guy looks...
Really?
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time you saw Eddie Brock?
The cartoon.
Yeah, in the cartoon he had like orange hair or something.
I don't know. For some reason I was like, he looks like a good choice as far as like casting.
I mean, he's just a good...
What else?
He's just a good overall character. Like in terms of Tom Hardy, first of all, he was in Inception. He was one of the guys in Inception. He was in The Dark Knight as Bane. He was in Mad Max. Yeah, he was Bane.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Like that's probably what people know him best as.
Uh-huh.
If they know who that is, because with the mask and everything, you can barely tell who he is or whatever. But he was in a movie called Legend, which arguably didn't do too well, but he was still pretty good in it. Let's see, what else is he in? Looking through his IMDb.
That's fine. I get it. I get the picture. He's Venom.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I like him. I think he's a good look. Like, I think when people heard that Topher Grace was gonna be Venom in Spider-Man 3, opposite reaction. People were like, "Why? Why are you?"
I think.
How much money did he give you? Did he give you all of his?
I think it was because at the time I believe Topher Grace was trying to make himself kind of into the movies because he had left that '70s show, and so he was making a play for movies. He did that weird movie called Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh yeah,
and it was Cindy and I saw it and was like, this is a weird movie.
I hear he was a cock in real life. That's what I hear.
Then they probably liked not having him on the show that much.
There's a story about him going to Disney. Mm-hmm. And he, like, blows his interview on purpose because he's just being a wank.
Okay.
And, like, he tells it on Conan like it's a funny story, and I'm like, you fucking blew it, dude. Like, so you went to Disney and blew it, and you're laughing about it. Like, what a jackass.
Like, why would you tell that story?
Yeah, it's funny. Whatever.
But he was on Ocean's 11. He had a minor part in Ocean's 11.
Really? What was he? The floor?
I'm sorry, not Ocean's 11. No, is it Ocean? Yeah, it's Ocean's 11. When they do the montage of where everybody is, Rusty, who's played by Brad Pitt, they tell him Rusty's teaching rich kids how to play poker. And Topher Grace, the guy from Dawson's Creek, Percy, he's in there too. And it's just a bunch of young actors.
Themselves.
Yeah, as themselves.
Oh, okay. So not a real, like...
He's still acting, dude. I mean, and they're like little brats, you know what I mean? But he did a couple things here and there, but... He was really trying to make a play for, I'm in movies now, I'm not just TV, I think he might have bought his way into that role.
That is probably the hardest thing to do, right, as an actor? Don't they
not
say
anymore.
That? Or wait, is it the other way around? You don't
No. Before it was like, if you're in TV, it's hard to get into movies. But if you're in movies, it's easy to go back to acting. Back in the day, like 90s time, if you went from movies to TV, you were considered a failure. Now it's like... Movie stars are trying to get into TV.
That's what I was trying to say, is like when you go movies to TV, you can't go back to movies. Like you're stuck in TV. I don't know what...
I don't know if that's the case now because like Netflix does so well that like if somebody goes from movies to Netflix, I feel like they can go back just as easily. Because you could do a movie on Netflix that everybody sees. Like Will Smith just did Bright, and he's going to go back and do a new movie. I forget what his newest project is, but he's going to go back and do a movie pretty soon.
I'm surprised whenever I go on Netflix and I see these like Netflix original movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do they make this in like 2 seconds? Like,
no, it's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I get
Adam
it.
Sandler has like a new movie like every fucking week on Netflix
Because he got a good ass deal, dude. He did a 6-movie deal with Netflix and got paid like just a crap load of money.
because he didn't have enough already. And then like
Exactly.
I just saw Jack Black is in a Netflix movie that I was like, what the fuck? Like, where are they getting all these movies from? It's just so weird.
They just have because like here's the weird thing about Netflix. They have a lot of capital in terms of like money that they've made from stream, but they never tell you the numbers, like how well things did. Okay. So it's a mystery as to how much. So it seems like they can bring people in by telling them, look, everybody's watching it on Netflix. Come invest your money here. You know what I mean?
Come spend your money here. Speaking. Speaking.
Oh, by the way, here's what. Just so you know, things that Will Smith will be in pretty soon. Aladdin as the genie.
Really?
Gemini Man, he'll be playing a character named Henry.
Okay.
Spies in Disguise, he will be Lance Sterling. And Suicide Squad 2 as Deadshot.
Suicide Squad 2, straight to video.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention the Bad Boys film that he's supposedly doing with Martin
Lawrence.
With Martin Lawrence.
They're really gonna make a third one?
I don't know. So supposedly it's in development. I don't see that coming back.
Is okay?
Like the whole point of that movie
as a movie, what does that mean in development?
In development, it means it's might be happening or might
they
not.
Have like some sketches on a napkin, and they have like a fucking receipt from a dinner they went to.
In
or something?
development can mean that like we wrote it on a napkin and it's in development, or it can be like we have investors lined up. We just need the okay from so and so to get the rights. It can mean anything. Do I think that's going to happen? No. It's like the whole point of Bad Boys, where they were young cops trying to prove themselves. What is this going to be? Is it going to be like Lethal Weapon? Will Smith's gonna say, "I'm getting too old for this."
You know, I don't know, because it's like a trend now, right? Like, hey, if those actors are still alive, bring them back and put them in a movie now and call it a sequel.
Because that's worked, right?
Like Die Hard, right? The newer.
Oh my god!
They made like a new Die Hard, right? And then like, Blade Runner. Yeah,
but Blade Runner's kind of different. Because
it worked.
No.
It did really well, and it
did because the Harrison Ford part was small.
Mm-hmm.
The new hotness was what's his name? Crap, I can't remember his name.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. He's the star, and they kind of just use Harrison Ford to bridge the gap between the two movies. See, that works. Like, but when you got Indiana Jones 4, that don't work.
Like Star Wars is, I guess Star Wars is kind of like the same thing then, right?
Star Wars had Harrison Ford to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But if anybody hasn't seen,
well, okay, maybe maybe they will do that then. Like if Bad Boys 3 is like, hey, they're
dude for let me tell you why
he's training Everybody Hates Chris to be the new cop or something.
Let me tell you something.
What?
It's not gonna be that. You know why? And no offense to any Martin fans out there. But that guy hasn't done anything in years, and all of a sudden Bad Boys 4 is giving. I think this guy wants to make a comeback.
Bad Boys 4? I thought they're on 3. They made 3?
It says on development. It says Bad Boys 4.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they did a straight to DVD Bad Boys, which could possibly be a thing. But dude, it just has that smell of I want to make a comeback as an action star. You know? Okay.
How much money do you have on like the 4 being the A in bad?
Oh my god.
No?
Oh my god. I didn't even think of that.
That's the poster.
Bad Boys.
Maybe it just maybe it just says bad with the 4 in the middle, like as replacing the A. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh my god.
It might be real.
Oh my good god.
But
actors.
Speaking of Netflix though, I watched a couple things on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched With Bob and David. With Bob and David is basically a successor to Mr. Show. If you've ever seen Mr. Show.
I have.
It's Bob Odenkirk and David Cross doing sketch comedy. And
how many episodes are there?
There's only 4. So I don't know what the deal with that is. But it was made in 2015, I believe. So I don't think it's coming back anytime soon.
With the 3-year gap, I don't think so.
But I guess it's like Bob got called to do Better Call Saul. So he probably just stopped and...
I mean, Better Call Saul, it seems like it's making him more money.
Yeah.
I mean, they could leave it open and just have it come back. It's just sketch comedy. It's not like there's a continuation.
I think that was the point of the show, is that they were just like, let's casually do this if we have time.
Yeah.
Drop it, whatever. But I enjoyed it. I think episode 3 is the best episode.
Okay.
So if you're actually looking to laugh, check out part 3. Episode 1 is also it's pretty good too. I think part 4 was probably the weakest one. I don't really remember too much, but it's only 4 episodes. So if you like funny stuff, you might as well check it out. But I've also been watching. I just started this. Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock show with Mr. Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay.
Also played Khan and all this in the second Star Trek movie.
Well, Benedict, I'm pretty sure people know Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, but yeah. And
definitely.
Also Martin Freeman from The Office. Tim in The Office, in the British Office.
Isn't he also a Hobbit?
Oh, yeah. He's the Hobbit, and I think he's in Hot Fuzz or something. He's in one of those Simon Pegg movies as a really small role.
Is that a joke because he's a Hobbit?
No, it wasn't. But that's a good one. I think you would actually like this show, Ernie.
Which one?
Sherlock.
There's a lot of people have referred me to that one. They're like hour-long episodes, right?
Yeah. So in my head, I'm just watching a little movie. You know.
You know what's killed it for me?
It's an hour and 20 minutes though, so it's not really like a nowadays movie, because nowadays it's like 2.5-hour movies are normal.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like a little treat. Mm-hmm. There's a little treat I have every night, and I think you'd like it mostly because we both like Sherlock, the character in general, and we like puzzles. We even played those Sherlock games, remember, on computer?
I'm still playing that Devil's Daughter version of that game.
Yeah, and it's got like this kind of... There is parts that I don't like about it, but it's funny. It's funny to say this, but like I think you would like those parts, like
the parts where he deduces.
No, like the parts where he kind of like he plays up the Sherlock thing, and it's a little bit cheesy, or like the way it's edited is really kind of like crazy sometimes, which I do like, but sometimes it is a bit like I don't know, they got a little too crazy there, or but the first episode is definitely good. They and if you're a fan of like puzzles or like mysteries or any kind of shit like that, I'd say check it out. It's really intriguing as far as I'm concerned. And if you like British TV, I love British TV. So yeah.
Yeah, I do like British TV. I like the way they cut their stuff a lot of the times, because it's I don't know what it is about some American TV. It's just cut too fast. You know what I mean? And British TV has a lot. You could tell it more in like things like The Office USA and The Office original. They take their time with things. So like the cuts are left a little longer so the joke can breathe and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
It's not just cut really fast.
Exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. But yeah, I would say this show is kind of like that too, because the writing is a bit more clever than like a lot of American TV. They can say fuck.
Of course they can.
Because it's British TV and they don't care. And just, I don't know.
Did you know there was a USA counterpart to that?
Sherlock.
Yeah.
And it's just died. Dead on arrival.
It was, it's with Lucy Liu.
Oh, okay.
They announced around, and I think, I forget who the main person is. We should watch both, like an episode of both, so we can compare and contrast, because is the Sherlock from the BBC still going?
I don't know, actually.
But we should check those out. I think it'd be interesting to see the two versions of it.
Yeah. The music is really good, dude.
Is it?
Yeah.
What kind of theme?
I'm so surprised that like a TV show has orchestrated music. You know, usually for TV shows, it's like, all right, let's get some fucking garage band to do some like you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like that kind of transition music or something stupid like that. But this has like super like nice orchestrated music that makes me feel like, all right, I'm on Baker Street with Sherlock, you know.
Yeah.
But that again is also kind of the stuff that gets on my nerves. It's like Baker Street. They always got to use Baker Street, you know. Like, oh, it's Watson. It's always got to be Watson. And
well, if you're gonna do Batman, you got to have Alfred, and you got to have the Batcave.
No. You're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah. But
thank God there's been so many versions of Sherlock that I I think it's underappreciated, but I really like the version of Sherlock that Robert Downey Jr. did.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the first one and I really liked that movie.
The second one's a little more heavy-handed when it comes to that detective stuff, but I will say it takes some risks that I really think pay off. I would watch the second one.
Second one has Moriarty in it, right?
Yeah.
Because the first one I remember
because
ended
they
with
tease
like
Moriarty in the first one.
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, Robert Downey Jr. in that one is an opium addict, and he's like kind of crazy and sporadic. He has bipolar disease and shit like that. So
apparently
it's like,
he's always kind of an addict, from what I hear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In the books, he was written like that, and he's kind of an ass because he's obsessive.
Yeah.
So those kind of things play in, but for some reason, and this is kind of the same reason he does well as Tony Stark, you still like him, even though he's all these things, because in the end of the day, he still has a heart, and he's still trying to solve these things for like justice.
Who plays Watson in those movies?
Jude Law.
Is he is he fat with the mustache?
No.
No?
That's the other thing, is like, I don't know where that Watson version came from.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. This
Watson was in this version, at least, he is ex-military, but he was a medic. So he's a doctor.
That's exactly what he always is.
He's a doctor, right, but because he was in the military.
Uh-huh.
So he became that because he had doctor's training, but he went to war, and he came back from war injured.
Yeah.
So he can fight. He's during these like sequences in the movie, he brawls, and he's really fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So actually, I thought the whole like fat with the mustache kind of Watson was like played out, and I thought this one was the first one to kind of break that tradition.
Watson is played by who in the BBC Sherlock?
Martin Freeman.
Okay. Martin
yeah.
Freeman.
So Tim from the British Office, the Hobbit, as you were saying. And he does.
No offense to him, dude. I like him.
He does come back with an injury too.
Yeah.
But like,
I think that might be canon. I've never read the Sherlock books, but I think that might be
the
canon.
little twist on this one is that Sherlock keeps telling him like, "Oh, that's a psychosomatic limp. Like you're perfectly fine. You just don't know what to do with yourself, and you're like,
I wonder if that's one of the things, because like in the Robert Downey Jr. version, he's always conducting experiments because he's so sporadic. Like one of the things he does is he paralyzes Watson's dog, Toby. He paralyzes him with a thing that makes him seem dead.
Okay.
And then when Watson's like, "You've killed my dog," he's like, "No, I haven't." And then he wakes up a couple minutes later and he's like, "See, I didn't kill him. I was just experimenting this new drug on him." He's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Sorry, I've been doing cocaine for 5 days to see if it would help me concentrate." And he's just like, that kind of crazy.
Okay, so that's the other thing too, right? Is that Robert Downey Jr. one is in the same time period as the original ones?
Yes.
This Sherlock one is modern
times, right? Yeah. Okay.
Which is also kind of cool because to each their own, but it's like I don't know, like if you want to see how Sherlock might work nowadays with like texting and cell phones and like TV and stuff.
I'm really interested now. I wonder if I can.
Yeah.
What? It's not on Netflix.
It is. Yeah,
Okay,
and
so.
I as soon as I saw Doctor Strange, I was kind of like, wow, this Benedict Cumberbatch guy he's real. I like him.
He had the opposite effect when I watched him in Star Trek. I was like, this is...
Dude, I've never seen it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Star Trek, the second one, he plays Khan, even though all the advertising was being like, he's not Khan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like trying to be like, it's not Khan. We're not doing Khan, like the Wrath of Khan. We're not doing it. And they exactly did that. So I was like, oh, great.
Oh, yeah, I think the Red Letter Media guy said that they do the same scream, too, right? Like the Khan!
But they switch it. So, in the OG version...
It's Khan.
No, hold on.
Okay.
In the OG version, the person who screams Khan is Kirk.
Uh-huh.
But in this new version, Spock screams out Khan.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they flip it. It's just stupid because like it's just stupid because, and not to get too much on a tangent, I'll just say this. Like I agree with the Red Letter Media guys on their stuff. It's like the great thing about the Wrath of Khan is that like Khan and Kirk don't really fight in real life. Mm-hmm. They have their battle in their ship, so they're just communicating through screens and stuff, and so it's a battle of wits. It's not a battle of brute force.
Right.
And in this one, like Spock chases him down, and it's like there's way more action in terms of punching and kicking and stuff. And I'm just like,
Isn't it
something to be said about, and this and they're I don't think they're using the Cumberbatch to their full like extent, because it's like you're telling me here he's like a detective and he's being like a mentalist. And
as far as I know, he's just a witty, clever person.
And why wouldn't you use that when you're trying to talk about this superior? Like Khan was supposed to be a superior being that could out-strategize anyone, and then Kurt gets one over on him, and that's how he wins. And you're not using him the same way in Star Trek. It seemed kind of like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the movie, but I was like, man, so much missed potential. There could have been more to it.
It's funny when that happens, like when stuff like that happens, because I'm like, I don't think you understand why the first one was successful, or like, do you understand why the people like the source material to this, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Because, I did really enjoy the first Star Trek. Even though a lot of people had a lot of continuity issues with
reboot?
it. Yeah, the one with, Chris Pine.
Yeah, oh man, fucking...
Chris Pine and that other dude. I forget about...
Mike from Red Letter Media just, like, rips that movie apart.
He did and he didn't. It was, like, one of those things where he was like, it's crazy what they did with it, but it's a successful reboot. Because it wasn't so bad that people hate it. And it did well in the box office, but like, they just did too much.
I feel like, I feel like his, if I can be quite frank, I feel like he was still being kind of a fanboy, because of the way he was describing it was like, he's just kind of happy that there's new Star Trek in the world, but at the same time he was still being his critic self, and he was being a Star Trek fan as well, and I remember one of the scenes that he highlights. Okay, God, we got to end this after this, this segment. Sorry. He talks about how when they're in the elevator, if you drag in the original Star Trek, if you drag your finger across where the elevator goes, it perfectly lines up with the way that the elevator moves up and down. It goes to the correct room. And in the new Star Trek reboot, they go in, the doors close, and they instantly open. And he was so mad because he's like, that was such a good piece to have in the original Star Trek, was the elevator scenes where they have
okay, I'm just gonna say this and then we'll move on, because I know this so I'm not a huge fan of Star Trek, but I have seen a couple of things from Star Trek, and one of the things the elevator is made for is for exposition. So it's it does two things. It builds tension, because they're on their way to do whatever they got to do. And also it's they discuss what's going to happen. So it's a bit of exposition, so that elevator gives them time to get to the next scene. You know what I mean? Because it's like in a Star Wars or anything, when they're in the spaceship waiting to get to where they're getting. You build tension, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Well, then the doors open and it happens. What he was saying was he jumps in the elevator and jumps out. He's like, where do you build the tension? And that's what he didn't like about Star Trek. Everything was just so I think the word he overused was supercharged. Well, so there was no where to breathe.
It's funny because Star Trek is kind of cliche as the nerd thing, right? Sure. And I kind of understand that as far as Gene Roddenberry put so much effort into every single detail of this world that you're really allowed to become obsessed with it. You know, you can be a Star Trek freak because there's enough there for you to go off of.
Well, because the principle of the entire series is this future where everybody is in harmony, and then this Starship Enterprise or whatever go out on a mission of peace. They're not there to just go fuck shit up.
And it's super ahead of its time too, right? The fact that he has a multicultural cast.
That was his point.
Was part of the message that one day every race is gonna
that's
coexist peacefully.
Yeah, that's what carries the show. It's just it has kind of all the stories are kind of timeless, because it's just being told if we were in space.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of a good way to segue into we've been playing God of War. Okay.
How does that segue to God of War?
Let me defend myself.
Please link these cables together.
Let me defend myself for 1 second, okay? This new God of War is a reboot, okay?
Right. Is it?
I don't know, actually.
Is it?
But it looks completely different.
It does look different. Yes.
I wish I would have gotten some clarification on that, but I Googled it.
Uh-oh.
Is this Kratos the same? That was the autofill.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. I got a giant board thread that was just maybe he is, maybe he came over here and settled down. And I couldn't find a definitive answer. Maybe I didn't look hard enough.
Well, I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'll get the spoilers. But Steven and I have been playing it for Play Toons.
Let me tell you.
Link in the description. No,
let me tell you why it's a little bit similar to this. Okay. Not that I hate God of War. We've been playing it on Play Toons, yes, and I do really like it actually. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty great so far. Yeah. The only thing I don't really like about it is that it's a bit more serious. And I think okay, like let me.
I'm making faces at him. That's why he's like...
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to tell you stop for 1 second.
Stop!
Okay, so original Star Trek, right? You know, it had a purpose, all that shit, right? Sure. This new one is a reboot. Sure. And they're just taking all the good and kind of working off of that. It's kind of like God of War. The original God of War was very like, this is something new. Let's just go nuts with it, you know? Mm-hmm. We want to cut people up. Hey, you finish the game, you unlock God of War. You got like a silly skin that you can put on Kratos because we don't care. We're not a franchise. We're just a bunch of guys making a fucking game that's fun. Right. New God of War is like, nah, he would never do that, okay? He has a son. He's a father, okay? No sex, okay? No boobs. This is not a fucking game for teenagers. This is a man's a rite of passage, okay? Becoming a father kind of thing. And platforming? Nah. Okay? No platforming. This is Nathan Drake, a really scripted, heavily just like you're going one path the whole time kind of thing. Which in my opinion is like, why? You know? Because like I said, it's just my opinion, but like God of War is about hacking and slashing, jumping, jumping, bumping, uglies. With ladies, and it's just a game where you can kind of just be a fucking psychopath, you know? Sure. But like I said, I do like the new God of War too. It's just that like stuff like the camera locking behind you all the time, and I don't know. It's a lot more stiff, I guess. Because I was telling you this too, is like you can chime in whenever you want here, Ernie. By the way,
you said to wait. You said to wait until like you were done saying your point. Because I'm holding my tongue.
Okay, no, sure. Let's hear what you got to say. Then.
Okay, so yes, that is what God of War has become, or what it was. Yeah. But they've done 3 consoles versions of it, and they've done 2 PSP versions of it.
They've done 4 consoles.
4? Isn't this the 4th one?
No, it's the 3. It's a trilogy and then Ascension. Which
but wasn't Ascension on... I thought Ascension was on PSP.
No, that's Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta on PSP.
Okay. So they've played it out. Mm-hmm. They've played out the whole, like, I'm the God of War that has the...
Of course.
You know?
That's why...
But if you're going to bring something back, you know, you got to do a new spin on it, because then they're just going to say, this is the same old crap we've had. It's just updated graphics.
Well, okay, yeah. First of all, you just described a reboot, because Star Trek went on how many movies before they rebooted it?
7.
Okay.
Wait, no, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, they rebooted it 3 times at this point.
And you got TNG.
Yeah, well. TNG had its own set of 7 movies.
Well, okay.
But, like, let me finish my point.
Keep going.
So this is the new version of God of War, and if it's, like, I believe it's a continuation because, first of all, he's somewhere called Midgar, right? Mm-hmm. I can only assume it's somewhere, like...
in Norway?
Norway or something like that. Somewhere Viking...
Norse,
like territory, right? Because of the fact that he has an axe, because of the fact that it's always cold, you know, all these things kind of point me to that kind of region. And then he seems to be way more subdued and knowledgeable because, you know, the old God of War, he would scream, he would be rash, and this one seems like, first of all, he looks way older.
He does scream.
And he does scream, but like the first part of this, it's like you can tell he has a lot of... You could tell he has a pretty heavy past because his son is doing things. His quote-unquote son is doing things. And he's like... He has very choice words for him. He's like, you know, I'm trying to teach you about your anger and blah, blah, blah. And that's all the old God of War's war is him just getting real pissed off and like killing Hercules and killing the God of War and killing this and killing that, and it just led him to nothing but misery. So this is him in exile. Like, he's tried to run away. Because remember, spoilers for anybody who's hasn't played the first 10 minutes or whatever, but it's like somebody comes to find him. You know, and you know, that's where the story kind of takes off, is that he's been trying to hide for the longest time, and now somebody found him.
Okay.
You know, and this is a new way for them to go, and I like it because it feels like it opens up a new possibility. Like, his son is, I'm guessing his son isn't immortal.
I don't
because
know.
he's immortal. But it's something that he wants to protect, because the very beginning shows him, you know, mourning the loss of his wife.
Yeah, then he goes Spartan when they like threaten him or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, even though he's immortal, he sees that like he's got to carry this weight of being immortal for the rest of his life, and his son might get killed at any moment, you know?
Right.
So there's a price to pay in this one.
Right. Okay, the only thing I have to say about that is that, yeah, you're right. If they wanted to reboot God of War, it has to be different.
Mm-hmm.
My I guess counter argument would be that when we were playing, I was throwing the axe and I was like, this is fun, right?
Right.
Make it a different game. Why do you need to reboot God of War?
Yeah.
You know? Like, especially because Santa Monica Studio is like a really talented studio. They fucking made the original God of War, obviously. It's like, let them make Kratos somebody else, you know? Have this be like its new franchise all on its own.
Sure.
There's something about like the fact that if it was a new IP, I would be like so much more into it. Like
that's so weird that you say that, because that's exactly what the Red Letter Media guys said. They're like, if you were to take out the fact that these guys were, you know,
about Star Trek,
crew, about Star Trek.
That's why. That's
if
why
you
this
take
is
out the fact that this is blah and call it new space adventure with young kids, it would have been a great movie.
Yeah.
But you've got the burden of Star Trek with it, and the reason I can tell you why right now Sony has done that is because it's a guaranteed risk that they're like, well, people will buy it whether or not it's God of War. Because people will just come because it's got a
yeah, people want to play Kratos.
Right.
No, I understand.
So, you know, you got your Viking game, but let's just stick Kratos in it, and then it'll make it better. Just kind of like when Nintendo tried to make Dinosaur Planet better by sticking Fox in it. And that didn't work.
And that totally worked, yeah.
But see, people still came to play Dinosaur Planet because it was Star Fox Adventures. So that's why they did it. Thank God it's turned out to be a good game, though. But I totally agree that if
we're
this
back
game,
on God of War.
Yeah,
okay.
I totally agree that if this wasn't God of War and we were playing it to see, you know, how this game was, I'd still want to keep playing it. Because without the Kratos thing, you'd wonder why people are coming after this guy. Who is this guy? You know.
Yeah.
But now that you kind of know he's the God of War, you kind of know some backstory, and you're like, some of the mystery's kind of gone. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Like it's. You make a good point with the whole, like, if it wasn't Kratos, who would play it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I actually think I probably wouldn't have played it if it wasn't God of War. Mostly because from the trailers, I just saw these two people walking in the woods talking to each other, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not playing
Yeah, because,
this shit.
you know, I was like, this seems exactly like The Last of Us. And I only played a little bit of that game because I played the demo of it. And it's like, it's kind of like a buddy. You know, you got the smaller kid, and they can do some things for you, but the main burden of keeping everybody safe is on you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think you know from experience with me, I hate escort missions.
Oh, yeah.
So if the boy gets annoying, I'm going to so effing lose it, because I do not like to babysit people in video games. It's like the worst part of Metal Gear Solid 2, when you have to babysit that stupid girl.
Oh, yeah. Otacon sister.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's the stupidest thing. And I'm like, I was doing so well, and I have to do this stupid part. That's always the part I wish I could just skip in that game.
Well, yeah. You know what's funny, too, is like, anytime like a new game comes out with like an escort type mission like that, they're always like, finally, someone did it right. I'm like, you know what?
The only time...
Go back to this game in like 2 years, because I don't think you're going to be saying that shit.
The only time I've seen it work was, and it's not even that great of a game, is BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, I was going to say, people were just like, oh yeah, BioShock Infinite did it great, and then like 2 years later, people were like, but was Elizabeth even there? Because like, she was invincible.
But I don't want to have to, like, Elizabeth can obviously take care of herself, but it's like, she was there as an asset and only as an asset. Because she helped you up, she opened portals, she wasn't a burden, and that was the good part of it. I never wanted to have a partner that's a burden.
Yeah, and it's I think a lot of games adopted that because Last of Us is the same way. If Ellie crosses in front of enemies, they don't see her. And also, remember we just played Far Cry. And in Far Cry, if your followers pass by enemies, they don't see them.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the solution is just
I mean, and you can pick up your... And that's what's good about Far Cry 5 is that your team, quote-unquote, is expendable. Like, if they die, that's on them. But you paid them... You pay them to work, so it's not like you have a lot of like problem with them dying. They die on their own or whatever, or you can just pick them up. So there's like an opportunity to save them, but it's all on you. You know, and there's no connection like, oh no, it's my son. No, he's gonna die.
In Far Cry 5, it's definitely better because it's just like random. Sally's gonna die. Okay, die.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And the NPCs that like are part of the story never die. Yeah, they just keel over.
Hey, but Sally, if I die, you please come pick me up. I'm gonna cling to life, and you come pick me up, please.
But yeah, so far so good on God of War. I like the theme. I like his. The cinematics are a little jarring. I will say this, because like the parts where Steven was in a fight and I was watching it, and just visually. The way they spliced the cutscene into the actual fight was a little jarring, because it was a moment where we were like, "Wait, is this?
It's so seamless that like seamless. You don't really know what's going on."
Yeah,
but you know, I guess that's where people want games to go. Like I said, I'm still really enjoying it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really enjoying it. There's just these parts
it's just
that
a
like
different game.
Yeah, there's just these parts that slow down, and I'm just kind of like, I wish I could just jump, you know, like, but they don't let me jump and shit like that.
And I will, like, again, I'm enjoying the game, but I'm getting flashbacks of, if everybody's been here for a while, they remember on the original Xbox, there was this really difficult game called Ninja Gaiden. And I really liked Ninja Gaiden until I got to a certain level where it was like, things off screen would hit me at the wrong time without any kind of warning. And it would be like, oh, you messed up my combo. Now everybody comes and rapes me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's parts of that are seeping in, and I really hate that.
The camera?
Yeah, because...
Camera's always a problem. Even in Bloodborne, people complain about camera, so...
But the thing is, like, if you're going to have me in this huge melee, right, you need to pull the camera back. Because it's like, how am I supposed to see behind me? I don't care how many indicators you have behind me. Like, every enemy has at least 3 ways to hit you. So, an indicator that's like, oh, somebody's going to hit you from behind. I was like, what kind of attack is it? Is it one I can deflect? Is it one I need to dodge? Is it one...
Look, you know what? This is kind of more or less brings me back to my point. It's like, Kratos, the original one, right?
Yeah. Pulled back camera.
They were just like, hey... This guy's gonna fuck shit up. What's his weapon gonna be? Let's give him chains that wrap around his whole fucking body and hit everything around him.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna be mobbed by people. And this game is more or less like, give him an axe, and he throws it and it's fun. Does it work in the God of War formula still? It's a little bit...
It's a little like jammed together. Because like in some parts, we were like, man, I wish... I could lock onto somebody, but as soon as you lock onto somebody hits you from the other side, and it's
like you know, fucking Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It's like Bayonetta spins around because there's people around.
Yeah,
Dante's sword is like gigantic because people are all around him, and
and there's ways in which both of those characters can dodge anything.
Yeah,
you know, there's definitely exceptions, and there's definitely some characters you need to take up first before others because they have such an omnipresent attack, but. In this game, it's like, I'm trying to battle this one dude, and just the other ones keep poking me in the back, and I can't focus on one, because the camera's right behind Kratos, and that's all I can see. Kratos takes up, like 30% of the screen.
He takes up a good amount.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say, too, is, I feel like we haven't even successfully, utilized your son. Because you can press square, I think,
to but he's there to distract.
Yeah, which is I don't know. Whatever.
And what as soon as he distracts, he gets grabbed, and then he's like, "Father, come help me." And we're like, "Well, it's like having Slippy on your team."
Okay, I don't know if it's that bad, but
well, what other video game character do you remember going like, "Ah, help me"?
Baby Mario, Yoshi's Island.
Oh wow, you threw it that far back. I was like, "Oh damn." But no, it's like
the exact same thing.
Even with all this, I'm enjoying the game, but I have to say, that irritates me so much when your core game mechanic can't be used in a certain setting because it's like you're giving me all these tools, but you're not giving me tools to deal with the threat that's coming in fairly.
Maybe they'll fix that later. I remember you were saying that like more than likely your axe is gonna have different elements on it.
Yeah,
which seems a little bit likely because it's like you got ice, where's fire? You know, like that's always
sure. I think they're gonna do stuff like that, and maybe they'll give me some more like, you know, because Bayonetta just starts out with her guns, and then the whip is like once I got the whip, I was like,
do you remember
I'm killing everybody?
Do you remember the first power up you got in the original God of War? It was called Poseidon's Rage.
Oh yeah, the water thing. Yeah.
No, well, it's more like electricity, honestly.
Wait, is it the one where you stand and you can spin around?
No,
and it's
he goes Super Saiyan kind of, and then like shit just shoots out from like under his legs and stuff, and it's kind of like a circle.
Oh yeah, but he jumps up in the air and like
yeah.
I remember it. Yeah.
So that
it's if he has something like he has something like that right now when we played last.
We got the first like runic attack or something where he
but it's more like a stun and not so much like a hit because that Poseidon's Rage one was dope because like it left them stunned.
Dude, I mean, I know God of War the original is pretty old and I'm not sure how well it holds up, but I remember fucking loving that game.
The first one at least holds up because I remember when I played what was it? When I played the first part of Chains of Olympus, I was like, this feels just like the first one, and that's great because it's on a new console. So it's like, give me some hack and slash on the go. I love it.
Well, okay. Jeez, like fuck, I can't believe I don't hate the game. I don't hate it. Okay, but one other thing about the original God of Wars, right? Mm-hmm. There's a scene where you poke somebody's eyes out. Mm-hmm. You have to click in the sticks.
Yeah.
That's like Miyamoto style game design. Like make the player feel what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
When you strangle we just played a fight where you strangle somebody.
Yeah.
You click in the sticks to do it, and I was like,
that didn't feel as tactile.
I mean, you know, like when you pull the Medusa's head off of the Medusa in the original games, you spin the stick around, and I don't know why, but you really feel like you're tearing the head off of something.
Yeah.
I think people will agree with me as far as that.
You know what? I feel the same way because in Bayonetta you have to like jam on a button to increase the amount of times like she hits somebody in a climax.
Totally, yeah. And I know people are all about like, you know, fuck QTEs. I think God of War is one of the ones that did QTEs really well.
Right, because you feel like you're actually ripping a head off when you're like jamming on that button. And it's not like they had you jamming on that button like with a butterfly's flutter like me and you do. You just had to jam it pretty consistently and it would eventually come off. And it's not like, oh, somebody hit you from behind, you're done. It would like you would be trapped in this little world where you could just click the button until it actually happened and then you go back to the fight. Yeah. Kind of thing. So makes sense.
Well, to let me close off this God of War discussion with a little Hercules trivia.
Oh, here we go. Wait, what? Just really quick. What weapon did you get from Hercules when you killed him?
What are you talking?
You kill Hercules like in the second one, right? You get do you get a hammer off of him?
Oh, I don't know, but fun fact, Hercules, Kevin Sorbo voices that Hercules.
I know. I remember you told me that. I was like, I think it's like, oh, it's Kevin Sorbo. No, wasn't it the gauntlets?
You get some
the lion gauntlets.
I'm not sure, but I think you get some kind of wing because you guys are falling and you take them from him and you push him onto the floor or something.
Oh, maybe.
I think. I'm not sure, but I was just
Pegasus wings.
I was just gonna say, there's a time when Hercules, Kevin Sorbo, travels to like Norse mythology, just like this game.
I remember from our very first podcast.
And he wears like a little fur vest as opposed to like the yellow one.
Yeah, it's like a cowhide, and then on the inside is a sheepskin.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he meets Odin.
He meets Odin.
He meets Odin. He meets Loki and Thor and Balder. All the Norse guys that you've grown.
Is that where he gets his super speed?
There's there's some weird fucking episodes of Hercules. I don't think I need to tell people that. But
you remember the episode where he sold somebody as a sex slave?
Yeah,
and then laughed about it.
Yeah. Shout out to Harry Partridge for tweeting that out, reminding the world that exists.
Do you remember the episode where he did a Beatles parody?
Oh yeah,
where the ladies were chasing him all over after he played the guitar like an electric guitar.
Oh my god,
the lute.
Yes, I love that, dude. I need to. Okay, I need to find somewhere to watch this
Also,
shit again.
do you remember the time that he traveled to an alternate dimension where he was like King Hercules, and he instead of wearing a nice beige vest, he wore a black one and had a goatee?
Anti-Hercules.
Anti-Herc.
Yeah. Oh, those were the best.
Or the time he was Chimpules.
That episode actually. Another fun fact: that episode like doesn't exist off air.
Yeah, I know.
That episode was like only on the air, and they don't have it on any of the DVD sets or online anywhere.
I think they got rid of it. Because they don't own the rights to certain
I mean, it was an obvious filler. They like didn't have people in that week, and like they had to make an episode.
Oh yeah, it definitely stunk like one of those episodes where it's called a room episode. I think they call it in the industry.
Oh, okay.
Where the whole episode takes place in one room. You have to write it, and it saves a lot of money because you don't have to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And in this particular episode, I forget what it was called, but it all takes place in a meeting room.
I believe it's called Yes Something. Mm-hmm. Yes Georgia or Yes Something.
Bruce Campbell's in it.
There is a Hercules. That's what it's called.
I think you're right. Bruce Campbell's in it, and Sam Raimi's kid brother's in it. Like all the characters from Hercules are in it because they're executives or something like that. I remember that one being the funniest one to me.
Oh yeah, we loved it as kids.
Yeah. And it was weird that Sam Raimi's kid brother was in it because he was a regular in Xena, not Hercules.
He was Jockster, yeah.
In Xena.
Right. He's on Hercules? I want to say he is.
I want to say at some point he did, but he originated in Xena. You know.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was a great way to put a little Hercules bow tie on this podcast and wrap it up.
I don't know if you can tell, but we're pretty big Kevin Sorbo fans.
Yeah.
I would say that.
I love Hercules,
Did you know, just fun fact.
What? Another fun fact. Oh my God.
Another fun fact. There was a movie with The Rock called Walking Tall.
Okay.
In which, and I believe it was a remake, where a guy comes back to his hometown. Turns out one of the guys from his high school, he comes back from the war or something. Guy from his high school has turned the whole town into garbage because he built a casino. And he introduced drugs and hookers and all that. And he becomes the new sheriff, and he runs him out of town. That's the whole Walking Tall premise in a nutshell. Walking Tall 2, starring Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we should watch it. I think it'd be fun.
Okay, I'm gonna counter fun fact you right now. Doesn't The Rock play Hercules? In the Hercules.
He did a Hercules movie.
so they switched roles. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
What a fun fact-filled episode.
I like fun facts.
All right. Well, we got to close this off. What are your final thoughts, Ernie?
Final thoughts. I'm very hopeful for Venom, but cautious, only because it's Sony.
Yeah, I'm actually after seeing that trailer, I'm like, okay, who knows? It might be good.
I'm pretty sure Sherlock is a lock.
Oh,
for
nice.
Is a good lock for a good time because people have just been giving it rave reviews. If you haven't watched the Robert Downey Sherlocks, watch them. They're really fun, and they're done by that one guy, Guy Ritchie.
Oh, really?
So that's why his style is infused in that.
Okay.
And then lastly, watch Hercules. Come on, guys.
Oh,
Kevin Sorbo needs to feed a family.
Yeah.
Let's give him some. Some love. And God of War.
Yeah.
Great game. Just have some problems.
I think me and Ernie are really enjoying it. I think we're gonna go hard into it, and we're gonna try and get back with the full review or whatever as soon as possible. Far Cry 5. I think we're just gonna stop playing because I actually feel like Ernie just wants to play that game off camera.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and I feel like that game has a lot of potential. But I just got to get into it.
Yeah. I get you.
There you go.
But that does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.